Okay, Jose Monkey. Where am I?
You asked me to figure out where this video was recorded, so I did. Hi, I'm Jose Monkey, and I find people who ask to be found. Guys, one of the reasons I'm able to find so many places is that we have a wealth of information available online, but also incredibly powerful tools to help us sort through and make sense of that information. And that only works when you have both things. If you have just tools but no data, you're not going to get very far. But even with all the data in the world, if you don't have good tools, you might as well be looking for a needle in a haystack. When looking for the location in today's video, my tools were failing me, and it made it a lot harder to find. This video is one of the shortest ones I've done in a while. It's just 4 seconds long. Check it out.
Okay, Jose Monkey. Where am I?
So what can we see? This person asks to be found, and one of the first things that I noticed was this red building across the street that has some writing on it. The writing is partially blocked by this utility pole, but even so, I was getting the sense that it said something like the something shack? I'll come back to that. Next, they turn the camera, and it becomes evident that they are at a gas station. Right at the end of the video, we get just a glimpse of this partial sign here, which ends in LON. Other than that, we can see what looks like a large storage tank of some kind across the street. And of course, we have one more clue. If we zoom in on this person's sunglasses, we can see a reflection. In that reflection, we can see the storefront that is behind the camera, so I flipped the video around to get a better look. And at first, I was not sure at all what this said. Maybe like Philip or something? Fortunately, a little bit of Googling helped me to figure out that this was very likely an Allsup's convenience store. According to Wikipedia, Allsup's is a convenience store with over 400 locations in New Mexico, West Texas, and Oklahoma. That page also told me that they sell various brands of fuel, and one of them was called Alon. Or maybe it's Alon, I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, I was pretty sure that the Alon logo was what we were seeing in the video. Okay, so we've got an Allsup's convenience store and an Alon gas station. And they're across from a place that's called the Something Shack. Also, I was willing to bet that this was Texas. I say that because several of the cars that are driving by appear to have front license plates, and while Allsup's has locations in Texas, New Mexico, and Oklahoma, of those, only Texas is a two-plate state. So I tried looking for that shack place, but without knowing exactly what the name was, it was pretty hard to look for. So I figured I'd do some data mining against the OpenStreetMap database and look for Allsup's locations that were very close to Alon gas stations, since they're basically co-located here. And I figured if I got a lot of results doing that, I could narrow it down even further by looking for only the ones that were very close to someplace with shack in the name. But guys, that's where I hit a snag, because the tools that I typically use to query the OpenStreetMap database were not cooperating. I kept getting errors and timeouts. Now usually problems like that will resolve themselves, so I figured I'd just wait a few minutes and try again. But guys, I retried a bunch of times, and I was still getting errors. So I figured while I waited for the tools to sort themselves out, I would just start looking at Allsup's locations in Texas. And there are a whole bunch of them, but I figured I was just killing time waiting for my tools to come back. I knew I didn't have to look at the street view for every single location, because in the video we see that large storage tank, so I figured I'd be able to see that from the satellite view. And guys, I ended up doing that for way longer than I expected. And I eventually saw this location, and I figured that this was probably the storage tank from the video. And it was. Guys, that was it. You were at the Allsup's convenience store in Ballinger, Texas. Now, as usual, I used Google Street View to try to confirm. But the very first thing I wanted to look at was what the heck the name of that shack place was. And when I first looked at it, it was actually blocked in exactly the same way as it is in the video. But I moved around a little bit and I was able to see that it is called the Red Shack. By the way, even if I had been able to guess that, I probably would not have gotten very far, because this place is not listed in Google Maps or in OpenStreetMap. In fact, the only information that I found about this place was an entry on MapQuest. So good job, MapQuest. Anyway, since this was a gas station, I get to play one of my favorite mini games. Which pump was it? And it wasn't too hard in this case because there were only 4 pumps at this gas station. And you were right here, at pump number 3. By the way, after I found this place, of course the tools started working again. And I was able to run a query to find Allsup convenience stores that were co-located with Alon gas stations. And it was actually kind of a big list, so maybe it would have taken me a while anyway. Anyway, I found this place in about 90 minutes from 4 seconds of video, so I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, it's time to check which previous location was closest to this one. And it's always interesting when I do a place in Texas because I've actually found more people in Texas than in any other US state. But because Texas is so big, sometimes those locations are still very far apart. Like for this one, the closest previous location was a place I found in Season 2, Episode 98 in White Settlement, Texas. But that's like 162 miles or 260 kilometers away from this spot. Guys, check out the map of all the places I've found so far from the videos that you've sent me. And while you're there, maybe go check out my store because we're running a sale. And if anybody else wants me to find them, record a video where you say, "Find me, Jose Monkey," or something like that on camera, or hold up a sign that says something similar. And don't forget to tag me in a comment on that video.